Hello, dear listeners. Welcome to Landing America. This is Tatiana. I hope you're having a wonderful day. On today's episode, I would like to talk to you about 5 most important things you need to know and basically 5 most important steps you need to take before traveling to the United States. When I decided to go to America for the first time, I had no idea about many of these things. And so I would like you to be prepared better than I was and just be ready. Number one step is to figure out what kind of visa you're going to have. I'm not going to go deep into visa topic on today's episode, but I want you to understand there is like hundreds of visas. Okay, maybe I'm exaggerating, but there is many visas you might be eligible for that you don't even know about. So it is important to know there is non-immigrant visa, there is immigrant visa, there is a green card, which is the best thing, and also there is ESTA. I would encourage you to ask Uncle Google what kind of visa is there, and you will see what you can choose from. Also, every country, and I'm not sure what country you are listening to me from, but your visa might also depend on the country you come from. I cannot speak for everybody, but in general, there is like student visa, investor visa, work visa, exchange program visa, diplomatic visa, just to name a few. You will need to do a little bit of a research yourself. It is important to figure this out before any other step. It is also interesting that they never teach us these things at school. I wasn't aware how many types of visa is there, what one needs to do to get a visa. And even Americans that I spoke to, they don't know how many kinds of visas there is to get to their country. Not that they need it, right? But still. When I was flying to America for the first time, I had ESTA because that was the easiest and fastest way for a tourist to go. ESTA is super simple compared to all the other visa applications. You don't need to go to the embassy, you don't need to attend any interviews. You basically just search for ESTA visa online. You fill in the information about yourself, answer truthfully the questions. You have to pay a fee, which in 2018 was around $50. 50 euros. And that was it. I was approved, I believe, within like 30 minutes. It was exciting, but you need to realize that, for example, if you would like to apply for a green card in a lottery, this might take up to 2 years. You need to decide whether you would like to go fast and as a tourist and explore, or would you rather go and work in America legally and maybe eventually live there? These are the questions you need to answer for yourself. Next step. Pick your city. You need to understand just how big the US is. You should take into consideration what your expectations are. Do you love summer or do you prefer cold and winter? Do you like big city life or rather more chill vibes? I love tropical climate. Florida is the warmest state in the US, and so my choice was pretty easy for me. I was messaging with one lady in Daytona Beach who she actually offered me accommodation for my trip. I was considering it because it was cheaper than any hotel or Airbnb. And also she was really nice and helpful, which nowadays is rare. Most people, especially those who moved here, they have been through all this shebang before, but they're not really willing to encourage anyone else. But then I decided, I wanted to go where the life is. So I'm like, there's Miami, and Miami sounds like fun. I was 27 at the time, so I was like, okay, let's see what this city can offer, right? So, yeah. Number 3 is buying the tickets. Once you have your visa and destination picked, you need to set the dates and buy your tickets. Now, when it comes to tickets, most of the visas will require you to have a return ticket. So, this is something you should pay attention to. You don't want to be denied the entry simply because you don't have a ticket back. Also, if you will work with, let's say, travel agency, they will most probably give you the options of the cities and also of the dates when you can go, so this will not be entirely up to you. Number 4 is insurance. You will need health insurance, and I mean, hopefully nothing is going to happen to you, but regardless, in case something happens, you do want to be covered. European insurance will not cover you in the US, and you need something extra. You need some commercial insurance. There's a million of them online. The thing is that healthcare in America is super expensive. It's expensive even for Americans. So, what can I say? You don't want to be paying those monies once something, God forbid, something happens. Last but not least, find your accommodation. Now, how to find accommodation? This is not easy task, I can tell you. When I decided I'm going to Miami, I was looking at the map and I'm like, okay, but where in Miami? Miami is not some small village, there is so many neighborhoods. I basically joined groups on Facebook, which I recommend you to do as well. I personally joined Czechs and Slovaks in Miami, Accommodations Miami, Miami Roommates, and similar. I reached out to those people to see if somebody needs a roommate for a certain period of time or if they have any recommendation. I recommend to look for people from your country. I cannot guarantee that they will be helpful, but those that will be helpful, I think it will be a nice feeling for you knowing that someone who understands you, who shares the same culture, language, and values is here, knowing that you are coming and they will be able to give you valuable advice and maybe some guidance or show you around. You don't want to feel alone and lost in the big world where you don't know anybody. Unfortunately, there's plenty of haters online. They're not willing to help. They're not willing to give any advice. I've seen comments online of people who are like, don't come here. It's really hard to be here. It's extremely difficult to get here. I'm sorry, this is my cat sneezing. This is something that makes me really, really mad. My main point of this episode is do not get discouraged by these people. Please ignore them. If you ever inquired and you received negative comments, please ignore them. Just focus on people who are willing to give you a valuable advice, who are trying to help you and encourage you. This is all from me for today. Check out those visas, see what you are eligible for. Let me know how that goes, and I'll talk to you on the next one. Bye.